चैतपछि वैशाख हजुर, जेठपछि असार। आदरणीय महानुभावहरूमा हिमालयन फाउन्डेसनको हार्दिक हार्दिक नमस्कार। आज यस हिमालयन फाउन्डेसनद्वारा आयोजित हिमालयन फाउन्डेसन साथ 2009 मा पाल्नुभएका सम्पूर्ण आदरणीय महानुभावहरूमा न्यानो अभिवादन। यहाँहरूलाई थाहै भएको कुरा हो, हिमालयन फाउन्डेसन एक नाफारहित गैर सरकारी संस्था हो जसले समाजको लागि केही गरौँ भन्ने अभिप्रायले आफ्नो क्रियाकलापहरूलाई निरन्तर दिँदै आएको छ। यसै सन्दर्भमा आज हामी सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्ला दुवाचर गाविस वडा नम्बर 2 स्थित श्री बाल सुधार माविको पुस्तकालय भवन निर्माणका लागि आर्थिक सङ्कलन गर्ने उद्देश्यले यस कार्यक्रमको आयोजना गरेका छौँ। म यहाँहरूको समय लिन चाहन्न, त अन्तमा यहाँहरूको सहयोगको कदर गर्दै हार्दिक आभार प्रकट गर्न चाहन्छु र यस कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाइदिनुहुन संस्थाका सहकोषाध्यक्ष श्रीमती कविता शेर्पाज्यूलाई आमन्त्रण गर्दछु। धन्यवाद।
Here I would like today among us we have a special person who has come from all the way from California, Professor of California State University, Modesto. I would request Dr. Miller to come and take his seat. I would also request Mrs. Chiring Yangzom, our treasurer, to come upon and do the Khada ceremony and the Nepali Dhaka Topi to present him as an honor tonight. Dr. Miller, prior to retirement, served as a Senior Vice President of Human Resources for Tri-Valley Growers, a Fortune 500 company. He is now a mediator, trainer, and consultant in the United States and internationally. Dr. Miller is a partner in Horizon Partners, an organization dedicated to advancement of collaborative workplace and community relationships. He is an international trainer, having established mediation centers in Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Guatemala. He has introduced the facilitated mediation concept to the 9 Southeast Asian countries and designed effective organizational practice in Ethiopia. He is currently working on a countrywide community mediation program in Nepal. Dr. Miller consults in human resources management, specializing in compensation and organizational development. Dr. Miller has taught management, human resources, and collective bargaining at Golden Gate University, San Francisco, at California State University. And most of all, it's not the last thing, but I would say Dr. Miller, he certainly loves our country, Nepal. He has been to Nepal for 23 times. What else can you say? How much he loves our country. Thank you. I would also like to request our special guest tonight here, Ms. Marisa Leonardo and Megan Miller, to come upon and take the seat. Thank you. I would request our chief guest, Dr. Miller, to come up on stage and share a few words with us.
Namaskar. Namaskar. I want to first of all thank my friend Yagala Shrestha and the board of directors of the Himalaya Foundation for inviting me to come and join you in this very special evening. And I also want to thank all of my Nepali friends, my New York Nepali friends, for making me feel so much at home when I come to visit you. This is my second visit, and I hope it won't be my last to visit with the Nepali community in New York. I want to tell you my story and how I became connected with the Himalaya Foundation. Like so many young Americans, I was always so much interested in Nepal, primarily because of Mount Everest. I dreamed that someday, when I was young, I would climb Mount Everest. and I read just about everything I could find about Mount Everest and about the country of Nepal. But my work and my family prevented me from doing that at my young age. And when I finally got to Nepal was in 1986. And by that time, I was too old to climb Mount Everest. But I did have an opportunity at that time, 1986, to come to Nepal and to go to the Sulu Khumbu and at least to look at my mountain of my dreams. As the person who introduced me said, I have been back to Nepal 23 times since then. And the reason I continue to come back to Nepal is not because of the mountains, but it's because of the people, because of people like you who make me feel so very comfortable when I'm there. My family has been extended to include many Nepalis over the years, and I want to just mention who they are, and maybe some of the names you will recognize. One of our Nepali sons is Shawan Nepali, who is the founder of Amagar Family Home in Dhulikil. Babu Nepali lived with us for a couple of years while he was studying in the United States. And Tika Basnet, who now I think is about 85 years old, the Ama from Amagar, is my Didi and also the mother of our son Shawan. We have two Nepali daughters. One is named Sharda in Kathmandu, and the other one is named Kumari. At least that was her name when we first met her. Now that she's a 15-year-old teenager, she prefers to be called Selena, but I still call her Kumari. Shailandra Shrestha and his family, Anarki and their two children, are very good friends of ours. And last but not least is my best friend, Sarki Bir Tamang, who I've been trekking with in Nepal for the last, since 1986. And also, I want to mention my other part of my family, Ekalala Shrestha, but I'll tell you more about him in just a minute. In 2003, a wonderful thing happened to us. We were asked by the Asia Foundation to help establish a community mediation program in Nepal. And over the last 5 years, that community mediation program has trained 2,000 mediators who solve disputes throughout 14 districts in Nepal. Over 5,000 disputes have been resolved on a non-violent basis in the last 5 years. I think that's probably the best thing that I've ever done in my life. Since 1986, my wife Terry and I have trekked most of the major areas in Nepal. We started out in 1986 with a trek up the Arun River Valley to Everest Base Camp. I think maybe that was the hardest trek that we made. And we've been to Johnson and Kogbeni. On the occasion of my retirement from my work in 1995, we did the Annapurna circuit, and I visited, spent a couple of weeks in Mustang, went into Lo Mantang and met the king. of Mustang. I've been to Lantang and the Helenbu. And then in 2001, we did the Annapurna Sanctuary. And that's where I first met Yagya La Shrestha. And I could tell from being with him on that trek that he was a very good runner. And so after I came back from that trek, I encouraged some of my friends in California to sponsor Yagya to come and run in a race called the Western States 100 race. Now, probably none of you have heard of that, but that race is the predominant ultra-marathon race in the world. And there are people from all over the world who come to participate in this race. It is a 100-mile foot race through the Sierra Mountains in California. So it's a very, very difficult race. Yagya La Shrestha was the first Nepali to ever participate in that race. As a result, both Yagya and Nepal got a great deal of recognition throughout the United States and actually throughout the world. He came back the next year, 2003, to run the race again. And actually, although his time was not as good as the first race he ran, it is the second race of which I'm most proud of him. Because after having run 55 miles through the mountain, he substantially injured, pulled a muscle in his leg. And as the doctors were working on him, I thought that surely he would have to drop out of the race. But he didn't. He pulled himself together and he actually ran and walked the last 45 miles through those mountains, which is a remarkable achievement. It showed a great deal of determination and courage that is indicative of the Nepali people. So I was very, very impressed with that. He has 2 silver medals for having completed that race. And there are very few people in the world who can say that. 5 years ago, I went to Gokyo with our first son, Ed Jr. When we got to the top of Gokyo, we built a Chorten, and we named the Chorten the Miller Chorten. Yagya was with us, and after he and Ed climbed Gokyo, they decided that wasn't enough, and so they went on and climbed Kalapatar, all within about 3 days. My friend Beer and I, the 2 older fellows, stayed in Tangboche and ate momos while they were doing that. Ed died of cancer last June. He loved Nepal, and he loved the people of Nepal. This year in October, our second son, Jerry, Beer, Yagya, and I will go back to Gokyo and to place Ed's ashes in the Miller Chorten. Ed's daughter and my granddaughter is here with us tonight. Megan, would you please stand up? In 2008, I visited beer in Yagyala's village in the Hilambu. I will return there this year in October to dedicate the school library in the name of our son, Ed Jr. And I know that your prayers and your support will go with us on that journey. So that's my story. We have an American family and we have a Nepali family. Although we do not look like Nepalis, we are all the same. And it is my prayer that someday everyone in the world will realize that all people are the same. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us. And now, I would like to call upon on stage our President of Himalayan Foundation Corporation, Mr. Yagyalal Shrestha, to come upon and say a few words.
Namaste, Tasidale, and Fapula. And good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I, on behalf of the Himalayan Foundation Corporation, would proudly like to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Miller, and representative from different organizations, sponsor of this event, and all our guests. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you to have taken this time and effort be with us tonight. Himalayan Foundation Corporation is not unknown to many of you. We are a non-profit organization established in 2006 with a sole goal of opening lifeline and support system between hundreds of Nepalese living in the United States with their brother and sister back Nepal. Your generous contribution have been used at different times to meet diverse requirements. Many ideas should be generated, activities should be performed, and we, with your support and encouragement, accept the challenge humbly. Steps are few and far between, but they are steep nonetheless. We thank you again for your joining us this walk toward a better tomorrow. Thank you. And I would like to introduce the board of members of the foundation. And first Vice President, Surya Gurung, please come to the stage. And second Vice President, Dawa Sherpa. General Secretary, Ranjin Wamgil Sherpa. Secretary, Ankami Sherpa. Treasurer, Kavita Sherpa. Member, Thinle Sangpo Rumba. And Vice Treasurer is Sring Yangzom. And Member, Pravin Lama Moktan. And Advisor Pemba Sherpa. Advisor Angfuri Sherpa. I'm hoping our member will do a great job. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Namaskar. I want to hear some feedback. Namaskar. Namaste. Happy Friday. Hey, it's Friday, right? Let's have some fun. But having said that, let's have fun, I just want to acknowledge all of you for coming here tonight, all from Nepal, mostly from Nepal, and Nepali lovers. Some of the tables around here, doing wonderful, wonderful things in Nepal, starting, of course, with the secondary school that you just saw in the documentary. It is amazing that the young man on the documentary said how he had never seen a computer. Thinking about that, it's amazing that a few years ago, it was the same case with many of us. And personally speaking, in 1984, when I first came to this country, I had never seen a computer myself. Having seen it on the windows in the stores, I was wondering how many years you have to go to college to be able to use a computer. But then again, you see it, you touch it, you learn it, and then you become literate in computer, internet, or anything else that are out there. So thank you to the Himalayan Foundation that this young man, within this 30 minutes documentary, who had not seen a computer before, is able to use a computer. At this time, the cue would be to applause. All right, that's really good. And also, the same young man also said that he had only seen microscope in a picture, but within a year, in the 30 minutes of documentary, you saw the young man using a microscope. Ladies and gentlemen, she is only 10 years old. She's in the 5th grade, and she is, as we can say, is the future of Nepali culture in the United States, and for that matter, in New York. And dancing actually, to the song of Mokali Sundari. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jenny Yunjan.
सबै मलाई भन्छन् म सुन्दरी
Dancing in the tune of Pretty Basho, please welcome Wakasa Bantawa. Kati Bachi Heru Chura and sing the song. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Babita Pariyar.